Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo!
Guess what day it is? It's hump day, and it is business therapy in the middle of the week. Welcome to the Do What Is Necessary live stream. I'm excited to have you here today, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And just to say hi, let me know whether or not you're a first-time user, first-time viewer, actually, not a user. Let us know if you're a repeat guest as well. I always like to know who's new to the show and to welcome back those of you that watch every single week. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all of you who watch every single week. Thank you so much. Those of you who are tuning back in for maybe the second time, welcome. Glad to have you here. So we've got a few on the call today. We've got John back from the Emerald Isle. So welcome back, John. We're appreciative to have you back on the show today. I'm excited about today's topic. Let's see, Ali Muhammad from Columbus right here in the OH. So awesome. Glad to have you back, my friend. So let me know if this is the first time you're catching the show, Ali. We appreciate that. And let's just see who we've got an anonymous LinkedIn user that comes in on the comments here. So let me just refresh my LinkedIn page real quick so I can see who that is tuning in anonymously this afternoon. So again, if you've never watched the show before, you probably have no idea who the crazy guy with all the orange is in front of you. I am Andrew Moon. I turn hustling entrepreneurs into calm, unstoppable CEOs. I run a company called Orange Nomad. We've been doing this show for over a year now, and I'm happy to be doing this show. It is an absolute labor of love for me to do this show every week, to welcome people from all over the globe to the show. So let me just see, again, welcome our anonymous user here. Looks like it is Jason Adams from Columbus, Ohio. So welcome to the show, Jason. I think it has to do with your privacy settings inside of LinkedIn, so I can't show your user profile or your name. But if you check out the show again next week, be sure to allow that, and then I can give you a proper welcome to the show. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're not familiar with the show, this is the Do What Is Necessary live stream. This is not the 10X, hustle this, grind that, whatever mentality that's out there. Unfortunately, if that's what you're tuning in to check this show out, I'm probably not the right person for that. This is all about living a calm life and running a calm business and doing what is absolutely necessary for you. Not according to my book, not according to anybody else's book, but according to you, what is actually fits for you, for your life, for your business. But I'm excited to have you here today. We've got a cool subject today. We're gonna get all kinds of nerdy on SOPs. So you'll find out what in the world am I talking about. Welcome back, Eric Steffi, to the program right here from Columbus, Ohio. Thank you so much for tuning back in. Eric is a longtime supporter of the show. Excited to have you back. Ali, thank you. Welcome to the show. So this is his first time checking the show out. So welcome, Ali. I appreciate you having on the show. Hopefully we take some benefit and not send people into therapy. But like I said, this is Wednesday afternoon business therapy for you, for your business, for your life. And looks like we've got a few more guests tuning in to the show. I'm going to cut over. A lot of people ask me about a behind-the-scenes look. They want to see the Orange Nomad studios, and they want to see the setup. They want to see how we do this every week. So this is a behind-the-scenes tour. So welcome those of you who are joining us. It is a very minimal setup. I am a one-man production team when we run this show. I am lean, mean, and hopefully not mean. But I like to, if you have questions about any of the setup, please ask. I'm happy to share anything that I've learned live streaming over the last year as far as gear, tech, tools, software, all that good fun stuff. If you like to see what's on my desk, I'll show you what's on my desk. Very simple setup, rocking 2 Stream Decks. And I want to thank our fine people at Ecamm Live. If you're wondering what software I use to broadcast and what you actually see over here on this screen. That is Ecamm Live, and that is what we use to bring this free content to the world every single week. And I'm so glad to have you here this week. So let's cut over and talk about our topic today. We got a few more guests that I want to welcome to the show. Welcome Dan Gilligan, tuning in from Dallas, Texas. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. If you're just joining the show, before we get rocking into our topic today, please say hello in the chat. I always like to do a proper welcome to the folks who join us every single week. So this week we're going to talk all about SOPs. And what in the world is an SOP, and why does it have benefit to your business? What does it mean to you? How can it benefit your life? But if you're a nerd like me who loves process automation, who loves taking technology to use it for what it's meant to do, which is work for us, not the opposite. And that's what I want to talk about today. How do we do that? How do we accomplish that? How do we run a calm business? And this is a large part in how we do that. So before we get started, I want some more audience participation, so I do have a question before we started. How many of you actually have SOPs inside your company right now? And if you want to put about how many you think you have, please put that in the comments. But I like to know who's new to the SOP game. Those of you who have no idea what an SOP is, we're going to uncover that today. We're going to peel back the layers on that, how to implement SOPs, and better yet, how to automate SOPs. So again, please put in the comments if you are using SOPs inside your company right now, and how many SOPs are you running? Now, I coach. A large part of my business is coaching entrepreneurs, sharing what I've learned over being an entrepreneur since I was 8 years old. And yes, that is a true story. But I like to share all of the good things that I've learned over the years running multiple businesses in multiple industries. But most importantly, I like to share the mistakes that I've made over the years. And this was one of them, is trying to do everything yourself. And many entrepreneurs that I coach and business owners, IT professionals, feel chained to their business, where they are absolutely stuck to their business. If they are not there every day to manage and run their business, it cannot run without them. So that means no days off, no vacations. That means burnout. That means fatigue. That means a lot of things. And a lot of things that are the complete opposite of running a calm business. And being chained to your business and running in burnout mode is not fun. I have been there. I am talking from a place of experience. So your business, we set up businesses as entrepreneurs. We get into business. We start things on our own because we want that freedom. We want to have a business that actually works for us. But so often we find it to be just the opposite. But if you're going to lead a calm business and lead a calm life and be a calm, unstoppable CEO, we cannot be chained to our business. We can't be wearing all the hats inside of our business. We can't have all of the knowledge about our business in our heads, because we will be the roadblock. We will be the stumbling block every single time. Our job as entrepreneurs, as I see it, is to create systems and processes for other people to implement. That is the definition of a true entrepreneur. That is what running a business and being a business owner is all about, is setting up systems and process for other people to do the work. Our job is to be the visionary, the leader. SOPs, you will find today, SOPs are a strong way to get there. That is a large part in being able to run a calm company, is having standard operating procedures. So thanks for chiming in. Dan Gilligan said he has 30 plus SOPs inside of his business. So awesome. Hopefully after today, we give you some ideas on having more. I don't think we can have enough SOPs. So let's get down with SOP. So what is an SOP? A standard operating procedure. And I'm not going to get all Webster's dictionary on you, but the standard operating procedure, all that is a step-by-step, detailed set of instructions that describe how to complete a process from start to finish. And it's much like building a house. It's much like having a blueprints to a house. How do you build it? How do you manage it? How do you maintain it? That's what SOPs are. They are standards of operation that create systems and process, start to finish, A to B, how to get things done inside of your business. And that cannot live here. I cannot stress that enough. As business owners, it cannot live between the 6 inches between our ears. It all can't be there. We will be the roadblock every single time. How many of you are used to SOPs and maybe got your start in business where all of your standard operating procedures, your operations manual was in a dusty old binder? And I got some colorful binders there. Most of the ones I was used to was in that plain white envelope or plain white binder with pages and pages and pages of operating procedures, how to do this, how to do that. If you've had any job in retail, you know what that involves. But a large part of operating in retail is people don't have to guess as to how to do things. So again, chime in. How many of you have got your start, or how many of you are actually using binders still this day where you're printing out your operating procedures and putting them in the binder? I'm always curious to see who's actually still operating that way. So if you've ever tried to put IKEA furniture, and I visited IKEA for the first time in over a year. I'm fully vaccinated, ventured out this past Sunday with my family and walked through IKEA. I love and hate IKEA. I love IKEA for the furniture, all that good stuff, but how many of you have actually put together IKEA furniture? And you know how frustrating it is, even though they give you those very simple instructions that are detailed, and we still struggle to being able to put things together. And that, anyway, but imagine running your business without a set of instructions, not only for yourself, but imagine what that feels like to be on the other end of it as your employees, those who are actually implementing and taking care of your business. How would they feel without a set of instructions on how to do their job? This is KMN, kill me now. If I don't have a set of instructions for myself, and how am I going to implement consistently a high level of output, a high level of work, without having a system, without having a process? This is how our employees feel when we don't do that as leaders. And this is how a lot of CEOs feel when we start coaching them. They feel overwhelmed. They are just torn in so many different areas. And this is one of the largest reasons why. They don't have a standard set of procedures for taking on their business, for accomplishing things inside their business. So welcome to the show, Jesse Castro. We appreciate you checking the show out today. So now let's get into the meat of what we're going to talk about, the benefits, why that's important as an entrepreneur, why that is important as a CEO, a business owner, and why that's important for your employees. So let's talk about the benefits of SOPs. SOPs have a ton of benefits, and we're just going to, lightly scratch the surface on some benefits. For one thing, you have better efficiency inside your business, and you have reduced costs. And why can we say that? Well, when there's no defined set of procedures, there's no defined way of getting things done, everybody has a different way of doing it, including us. If everybody just kind of makes it up as they go, and every time that they complete a process and have a process or a task in front of them to do, we all tend to do things a little bit differently each time we do it. It may be the same task, but we may do it a little bit differently. And what that does is it's inefficient for one, but every time that we do that, we get different results. We cannot deliver consistent results if we're doing it differently every single time. And in most cases, we're wasting time doing that because a lot of times we have to go back and redo it, which costs us money. And when your employees, when we have to spend more time inefficiently working without a set of instructions, we are costing ourselves time. We are inefficient and we're not getting things done. And then that to me is really the core of the problem for a lot of entrepreneurs. They are stuck trying to do everything themselves. They don't want to give it trust to somebody else because somebody's not going to do it like I do it. But we got to get out of that. Second benefit, we get consistent results. That kind of ties into what we just talked about. Once you have standard operating procedures, you have a document, you have a set of instructions, even somebody that's new to your company knows exactly how to accomplish that task because we've covered that from A to Z. We've covered how to accomplish that task. So we get better results. Go back a screen here. So that's point number 2. The third main benefit is you have the ability of running a calm environment when everybody knows what they're supposed to do, when everybody accomplishes their tasks efficiently, and we deliver consistent results, high quality results. That puts us in a state of calm. That puts our people in a state of calm. And as an entrepreneur and as a business leader, that frees you to be able to lead, to be able to create, to be able to innovate. You'll have the time to actually work on the areas of your business like marketing. Things that maybe you know that you need to do, but you've neglected for a long period of time because you're just torn. You feel like you just don't have the time. And I hear that a lot. I said it myself as an MSP. I just don't have the time to do this marketing stuff. But when you start implementing processes and you do things consistently, you free up time. You free up time because somebody else can actually do that. It's not all reliant on you having to do that. So I want to do another audience poll and ask another question for those that are watching. Who's responsible for SOPs inside your company? Drop that in the comments. Let me know. Is it you? Is it someone else? Is it an office manager? But let me know. Who is responsible for SOPs inside your company right now? All right. So we've got the benefits. We see the reasoning. We see the benefits for us, for our people. How do we do it? How do we start creating SOPs inside of our company? What does it look like? What should I include? And that's a large part of the apprehension that people have of actually getting things implemented. So I'm going to do a 30,000-foot view of things that you can include inside of an SOP. And we're going to start with the very first thing, which is the title page. What is the SOP about? Some of the things that you could put in there just to give you ideas. Obviously, it's the title of the procedure. What is the process that we're doing? We can give it an identification number. We started to implement this inside of our systems. Every single SOP has a unique identifier. It has a task ID number. That way we can go back and reference it. We know which SOP we're actually talking about. We're not talking about versions of something else. The other thing you can have on that title page is a publication date or a revision date, names of people in the organization that are going to use the SOP. So which function inside of your business, which business unit is going to actually be using the SOP. And on the title page, you also can have the names of the people who created the SOP, the one that approved it, who's responsible for it. That can be on the title page. Who's going to own that SOP? I know it seems basic, but I've seen SOP manuals, I've seen SOPs that don't have a table of contents. But that's important. Don't forget the table of contents. That's an easy way to speed up how to find things, how to navigate through and find different sections of the SOP. So don't leave that out. The third thing is all the preparatory information. I know that's a super big word. I'm a hillbilly, and yeah, I just felt like using a big word today. So all this is you put together the purpose of the SOP and the scope. What is the purpose of it? What is the full scope of what we're doing? You can have the roles and responsibility of the people that will be completing it. Any additional resources can go in here that will be needed to complete the process. Do they need to reference something else? Do they need to reference maybe an OSHA manual or whatever? That all can be, get all of that together so that people know what they need to reference. And that way everything is compiled ahead of time so that you're not guessing as to, okay, I need to have this. Try to get everything together as you start the process of compiling your SOPs. The fourth thing, and this is the meat. This is the meat of the SOP, is the actual procedures section. And that's really the core. This is the step-by-step instructions that are going to help you and help your employees complete the process in the right way. They're going to do, and others are going to be able to do it exactly the way you would do it because you've detailed that out in the SOP. If there's more complex procedures, these things go in there. You can break this down into sub-steps, sub-tasks. That way you ensure that nothing goes wrong. But all of that is in the procedures, actually how to accomplish the SOP, how to get it all done. So welcome to the show, Robert, joining us. Better you either chiming in late. Hopefully you're not kicking back on the couch, but welcome back to the show, Robert. Robert supports the show every single week. Can't thank you enough, my friend. Glad to have you here. The next part's quality control. Who is responsible for this? Who's responsible for the SOP? What performance, what KPIs, what best practices have to be met, and what are the specific guidelines? What are the samples of previous results? All of that goes in the quality control. And you could choose whether to have that section in your SOP or not. But the other thing that you want to have in there is references. Obviously, again, if that's references to other things, if it's, like I said, it's a reference to an OSHA manual or it's a reference to another process, you want to have that in there. And one of the things that we started doing inside of our company is putting an FAQ section. That way, if when you've got SOPs implemented, people are actually doing the things. Somebody new might have a question. They might, have a question about something that they're not familiar with, or they may provide insight that somebody else may have that same question. And having that in a frequently asked questions part and section of your SOP is a great way. That helps to fill the knowledge gaps that you have inside of your business. So these are the main core. This title page, table of contents, preparatory information, procedures section, quality control, references, and FAQs. A very simple structure on how to do SOPs. A lot of people overcomplicate it. I'm guilty of it. I overcomplicate the process, and that a lot of times prevents me from ever getting started. But make it as simple as process, or simple as simple of a process rather, that you can make it. And this is a basic bones framework of how to actually implement an SOP. So now we're going to talk about how to get started. How do we actually write an SOP? What are the steps to actually sitting down? We have all that information. We know how we're going to structure it. How do we actually sit down and actually start implementing that? We're going to talk about that right now. The first thing we need to do is choose a format. Where is this SOP going to live? Is this going to be a Word document? Is it going to be a Google document? Is it going to be a Google Sheet? Whatever. Is it going to be a Teams document? Whatever you're using, you need to choose a format, and everybody knows that this is the format that the SOPs need to be in. If it needs to be a Word document, if it needs to be a PDF, decide on that ahead of time, but that's step one. And this can be anything from just, simple checklists to higher, more complex checklists, but having that in there, choosing the format, and again, sticking to that format, whatever you think is going to be long-term beneficial, choose the format. Whatever you're using now, don't recreate the wheel. But choose the format first. So that's everybody's decided we're gonna use this format, whether it's going to be a Google Doc, or it's going to be a Word doc, or an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is. But then we're going to get everybody involved. Who is going to be involved in the SOP? Not just in the creation of the SOP, but who is actually going to be involved in implementing? Who's going to be doing this work? And this is really useful. And a lot of business owners, I was guilty of it for a while. I would make the SOPs, hand them to the techs, and expect them to just do that. But the problem is that I found is they're the ones that really are in the best place. They have the expertise. They're the ones that are implementing the solution every single day. So we want to create the SOP in a way that they're actually going to do it, for one, and they're really the experts, the ones that are doing, the work, the actual work each day. But some people hire this out. They hire a VA to write their SOPs. But you want to make sure that they're familiar with how you do business. You're gonna want to make sure that they're familiar, especially if you're in an IT or you're an MSP. They need to understand the challenges of your business. They need to understand, what they're doing in order to best write the SOPs. And this is a question I get a lot. Who should write the SOPs? And when I ran my MSP, I actually started getting my techs. My lead tech is the one that started making all of my SOPs. He's the one that's going to be doing a lot of the work anyway. So I empowered him to be able to create the process. Create the process, create the SOPs. But you got to get everybody involved in that process. So we got a question come in here. So yeah, if you have questions as I go along, please ask as well. It says, when you owned your MSP, did you have an SOP around help desk and actually how individual problems might be handled, or was it generic for the troubleshooting and the SOP was around the ticket? We had both. Again, in the beginning, it was just a general, this is how we do the help desk. But each ticket had, depending on what the ticket was, whether that's, a router down, server down, there was a process that they go through. We created a sub-task for that, for the SOP. So we actually had both. But if you haven't got started, if you're worried about just getting something started, just create a generic one for now and continue to build on that. And I'm going to get to that in a minute, how important that is. This isn't a one-and-done process with SOPs. This isn't you create things, throw it in a binder, and never think about it again. These are living, breathing things. But yeah, so if you have a further question, if I didn't answer your question, please let me know. I'm not sure who that was. That might have been, let's just go see real quick who that was. I'm going to refresh LinkedIn real quick so I can actually talk to you instead of have it say LinkedIn user. Waiting for it to reload. There we go. Okay. So that was Jason Adams' question. So yes, if you have a further question on that, if I wasn't clear on that, or you want me to dive a little bit deeper into that, please let me know, Jason. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, so let's jump in. Step number 3. What goes next in the process? Get back to the right screen here. What's the purpose of the SOP? What are we trying to accomplish? And thinking about that before you actually get started on the SOP is super important. You need to identify what the end goal is. What are we trying to do? What is the end result of this SOP? But that needs to be identified before you actually go start writing the SOP, because if you just end up with a crazy process that leads somewhere where you didn't intend to go if we don't have that clear in mind ahead of time. So step number 4 is actually specify the structure. What does it look like? So getting to your question, see here. So getting to your question, Jason, this can be generic. It can start generic and then you can get detailed as you go. But especially if you're a smaller company, you're a startup, it can be an informal process. It can be just, the SOP can just be a checklist. Do this, 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 and this. But that may be where you want to get started. But whatever the structure is, we want to keep that consistent. So we need to decide what the structure is. If the Word document is going to have a checklist inside of it, that's cool. If it's going to be a video tutorial, that's cool. But whatever it is, we need to decide what that structure looks like. One word of caution, though, on video tutorials, in having videos in your SOPs. I thought this was a great idea initially until it came time to edit, until it came time to actually, if we changed anything in our process, that actually increased the time it takes to get an SOP updated. which became kick the can down the road because we just don't have time to do it. So it might be something to think about if you want your SOP structure to be all video. I'm all video. I love video, don't get me wrong. Editing and maintaining video is time consuming. And if you do all of your SOPs in video and you change one single thing or you change a tool that you're using, you've got to go back and remake all of those videos. And that can be super time consuming. So just something to think about as you're getting started in creating the structure of your SOPs. But yes, keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. And those of you who are tuning in live, you get a special treat this week. One of the things that we try to do every week, and I do a random giveaway inside almost every show. Sometimes I forget. So, who would like a free coffee mug? Please put that in the comments. Put free mug in the comments. And the first person that puts free mug in the comments will win themselves a nice, sweet Team Orange coffee mug. That is my gift to you for tuning in live. If you're catching this on the replay, wrong screen. So if you're catching us live, great. If you missed the show live, unfortunately, you miss out on the free swag that we tend to give away on the show. So we got to race to the free mug. So we have a winner chicken dinner. Let's see who is our winner today. Pro Tech Guy gets the free mug. Congratulations. If you want to send me a direct message or just message me through even the comments, since you're over on YouTube, drop that in the comments. Just get with me privately. I just need your address and where to send that nice, sweet coffee mug for you. So congratulations to Pro Tech Guy. Appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in live to the show. Hopefully we'll catch you next week too. All right, let's keep rolling. Step number 5, we need to define the scope of the SOP. What does the process look like? So some of the things to think about, I jotted some down for you. When you think about the targeted process, ask yourself the following questions. What action triggers the process? So what kicks off? Is it a phone call? Is it an email? Is it a ticket? Whatever it is for you, what starts the process? And then also answer what action ends the process? Where do we reach our goal and what says that this process is done? So what's the purpose? What is the purpose of the SOP? So all of those things can be defined in this section of defining, the triggers, what starts, what ends, and that allows us to really define the scope clearly. So if you know where it starts, you know where it ends, it's just filling in the blanks with step number 5 as to, what goes in there. So thanks again, Pro Tech Guy. Appreciate you tuning into the show. All right, step number 6, have a consistent style. And that goes back to choosing the format. Whatever format it comes in, try to be consistent. And if you're typing these and these are going in documents, try to keep the headings consistent, keep the setup of each. And I recommended putting a template, having a template to be able to create an SOP. That way it looks the same no matter what process it is. It speeds up the time for finding information. If everything is formatted completely different, it takes time to really figure out, okay, am I hitting the right points? Am I, where's the instructions? If it's different, if it's in a different place depending on the SOP, that is super frustrating for you and it's super frustrating to your people. So think about that. Having a consistent style, and I recommend having a template. Step number 7. This is a weird one, especially with us MSPs, and I know there's a lot of industries that have acronyms. But these are the notations that we put inside of our SOPs. So if we have terminology that is, an acronym, we need to spell that out. Because if we're handing this to a new person or we're handing this to a VA or somebody outside of our organization, they need to know what the heck we're talking about. So have a place in there, whether it's a legend, this, MSP stands for this. A lot of people don't know what that is. But spelling that out, what those things are. So procedures for your front desk people. All of that can go into having the right notations of the markup language, what language you speak, and defining that is really important. So it looks like we do have a comment from Scott Armstrong. He has moved to process-based digital SOPs, which awesome. Paper is the thing of the past, and managing data, not documents. Amen. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm actually going to show you, if you hang out to the end of the show, I'm actually going to show you an actual SOP of how we do this show, how I produce this live stream every single week. Step number 8 is, this is the core of it. We need to list out all of the steps that there are in the correct order of how to accomplish a task. So whether that's you observing how somebody's doing something, but I think a better use of your time as an entrepreneur is get them to write down what is the process of how to do XYZ. And then tailor the process, make it, the part of your company, make it look like your company. And that's the format. Get somebody else to start the work. You just put the finishing touches on it. But that allows you to keep the process running for SOPs. Step number 9, and again, we're getting pretty complex. You may not have this initially when you have your SOPs. What is the KPI? What is the performance metrics to see whether or not an SOP is working and whether that is the best way to get from point A to point B to reach your goal? But having some type of performance metric at some point is important as you track your SOPs. That way you can kind of prioritize the things that are really, really pivotal inside of your business can be put in that step number 9. Step number 10, we need to make sure that it works. And once you have your first SOP draft, we want to test it. Test it with one single user or somebody who's actually going to be doing the job to make sure that they can actually understand it and that they can go through the process. You can define anything that's unclear and be able to refine the process before you move on to the final steps. And then if you have your techs or you have your employees creating SOPs for you, basically everything gets passed to you for review or a manager for review. But somebody's got to put eyeballs on it to finally approve it and to own that process. So that's step number 11. Step number 12 is actually doing it, actually doing the work. Once you have that draft, you have the SOP ready, it's time to implement it. It's time to get things done and to do what is necessary. So if you followed all the previous steps, your standard operating procedure is good to go. You should be really good to complete this phase and move on to the next one. And you just keep doing that over and over and over again for each set of functions and processes inside of your business. Step number 13 is identifying the problems. So as SOPs are implemented, you may find problems down the road. But that's okay. Again, this is not a once and done process. This is a continual process that we have to put time in as entrepreneurs, as business owners, if we're going to be able to step back and do our thing and to be able to lead our company and not be in the weeds every single day doing the actual work. Step number 14 is the one where most folks, myself included, that I was bad about this for a long time. Doing SOPs is something that we continually kick down the road. We play a game of kick the can constantly with SOPs. But having a regular time to update your SOPs. And everything changes in business. We found that out over the last year. Everything can change overnight. So our SOP for being able to do something maybe in the office may be completely different when somebody's implementing this in a work from home environment. So we need to be ready to do that. And my pro tip, if you're going to take a takeaway from all of this as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as an MSP, this would be it. We need to block time on our calendars to regularly update SOPs. And whether that's your job to do that or someone else's job to do that, you need to know that that's being done on a regular basis inside of your company. So if you caught my previous show on task batching, if you missed that, if you're on YouTube, I put a link in the comments, in the card after the fact, that'll link to that video. But I definitely recommend going back and watching that, how to task batch, knew I was going to mess that up. And what that looks like is basically this. You have chunks of time inside of your schedule every week to be able to accomplish things inside of your company. And this is what we covered in the last video, our last live stream on how to do this, how to batch tasks so that you're touching everything inside of your business at least once a week. So if you haven't seen that, like I said, check that out. So if you'll notice on the calendar here, every Thursday is my operations day. That's when I look at everything inside of our business. Are we being efficient? And the very first thing that I do when I get into the office from 10:15 to 11:30 on Thursdays, this is what I do. I have a handful of SOPs that I look through, make sure the process is working. Is there anything we need to refine? Is there anything we need to make changes to? But I have a time booked on my schedule every single week to be able to do that. And when I started doing that as an MSP, things changed dramatically. And if you're an MSP, I'll give you another little side point you want to have on your calendar. One of the things I used to do as an MSP on Friday afternoons from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I would debrief our service desk. We would go through all the tickets that we had for that week, and my lead tech would lead that meeting, and we would figure out how do we prevent those tickets from occurring in the first place. If they have to come in, or if a ticket has to get created, how do we automate a fix if possible? And the third thing that we looked at, if we couldn't do either one of those two, how do we educate a user where perhaps that ticket may get prevented from being created in the future? But have a time block on your calendar to debrief your service desk. That is at the core of what you do. So if you want a copy of this calendar, put that in the comments. I'll gladly send that over to you. Shoot me a DM, however you want to contact me. I have this in an ICS file, so you can import it into Google. You can import it into Outlook, whatever calendaring program you're using. But I definitely recommend batching tasks every single day, every single week, so that you can actually get things done. All right, it's time for your input again as an audience. Hopefully this is not boring you to death. So I'm going to get to the really fun part that a lot of people want to know is how to take it to the next level. But Scott already answered our question previously. He's using digital SOPs. So my question to you, what app do you use to create and track your SOPs? So if it's an app, a piece of software, if it's your PSA tool, whatever it is, go ahead and drop that in the comments. But now we're going to move on to the next phase of how do we automate. So I'm going to take a quick drink, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. So hopefully you're still with us. All right, we got a few folks who want a copy of that calendar, so I will get that to you, Daryl. So Daryl is a Team Orange member, so whatever content I can provide for you, I definitely will do that, my friend. So I'll put that as a note, get that right over to you. So Jesse Castro, thank you for your comment. Exactly what I needed to hear today. Awesome. Glad we were able to make it a benefit for you being able to check out the show live for the first time. So it's awesome. Thanks for your input as well, Jesse. PSA. So use your PSA tool, Word docs, and Excel docs. So we got a lot going on. We got a lot of places we're storing our SOPs. And that was always my challenge, is we've got some SOPs in ConnectWise, which was our PSA tool. We've got some SOPs that are in Dropbox or in Office 365. Some stuff is sitting in SharePoint. And that was always frustrating for me, is trying to find a solution that worked so that we can continue to implement, we can continue to evolve as a company. So let's see here. Got too many Mises going on my desk here. So Jesse said yes, he would like that calendar as well. So awesome. So we'll definitely send that over to you. I'll DM you a link to that as well. All right, so now we're going to get to the fun part. I'm actually going to peel behind the curtains and show you how to do this. So If you haven't got started in the process, I definitely recommend starting the process, getting something in place, but always plan for the future. I always plan for how do I make the technology I'm using, whether that is my PSA tool or whatever tools that we have. There's so many tools now that will help us take information and data from one system and put it into another, but it allows us to automate and speed up that process and eliminate the manual data entry, the manual implementation of a standard operating procedure. So it's much like if an assembly line, think of it this way. Most of the cars now are built by robots, not people anymore. So it used to be that people had a checklist, a binder that might be at their station as they're building a car. Now it's robots. These robots are pre-programmed with a pre-installed set of instructions. So anytime those instructions need to be changed, they just send that update out to the robot. And the process for that robot to be able to accomplish the same task is done. It just might be slightly different. And I think that is the power of having SOPs inside of your company. That is the power of being able to implement something where you have the capability of not having to be the one to do everything. All right, so now we'll get into how do we actually accomplish that. So I am going to switch screens here, and I will and again, this is process and systems and being able to use technology to accomplish that. The tool that we use to be able to do that is ClickUp. I was not familiar with ClickUp until probably about 4 months ago. So if you're curious about ClickUp, if you want to sign up for a free trial, there is a lifetime free plan, but I cannot recommend it enough. We have fully implemented, and I've been able to stop using Trello, OneNote, and a multitude of different tools and have everything live in one place for the first time. So again, you would be amazed at what you can do for the free version. I did this for a month. I downloaded the free version, started implementing, testing the tool out. We have everything set up inside of ClickUp now. So all of my processes, all of my SOPs, everything that we do from sales, marketing, operations, and support is all done out of ClickUp. And for those of you that are Team Orange members, I'm going to be doing a lot of in-depth tutorials on how to implement ClickUp, or to give you ideas, if anything, on how to take your current tools and be able to do the things I'm going to show you. But I'm going to take one process that inside of our business, because I could take hours showing you all of the things that we have. But again, after the show, orangenomad.com/ClickUp. Download a free trial. Let me switch back to the pricing page and just show you. There's a free version. It's free forever. I'm actually on the business plan. I was bought and sold after trying this out for an entire month, just seeing what it can do. And for $9 a month, I'm on the business plan. I cannot recommend this enough. And now I'm going to show you why. I've built up to it enough. But I'm going to show you why I feel and why you might want to maybe take a second look at ClickUp, or just second evaluation of the tools that you're using. Because what you're seeing right here, I'm going to go full screen right now. That way you can kind of zoom in on what I'm going to show you inside of ClickUp. This is actually sitting inside ClickUp right now. This is our Do What Is Necessary production workflow. So as you can see here on the screen, these are previous episodes that we've had in ClickUp, and as you can see, it goes back to April. We started implementing SOPs and automating SOPs for the production of the show right inside of ClickUp. Everything lives here. So what I want to do is just show you how I do that. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to create, everything is called a task inside of ClickUp. It's project management. I mean, it's a number of different things. For us, it is a business automation tool for me. So what I'm going to do is just down here at the bottom, if you can see that, I'm going to we're going to do a test live stream. And you'll notice down here too, I have required fields. So a new show cannot be built inside of here for our workflow to kick off until it has certain things. So one of them for us is a tracking number, a video number for each episode of the Do What Is Necessary live stream. So we have an SOP for this. So the naming convention is the year dash the month dash the day. Because generally we're only producing one video on that day. If there are multiple videos or we're doing multiple live streams, it may have a -1, -2, -3. So that's the first thing. That is required before anybody moves to the next step. So we can plug in some pre-formatted content ahead of time. I can put what playlist this needs to go on our YouTube channel, especially for our filming crew and those who are producing other videos. We have things inside of there. Is it filmed? Is it not filmed? The publication status, is it live, unlisted, private? So we can categorize everything and put data around every single thing we're doing inside of ClickUp. And again, we have an SOP for how to actually set up a task. But I'm going to show you some really cool things in a minute, how you speed up this process. So as you go down through here, I put in, okay, what is the date of the live stream? So I'm going to put that for next week. So I know that live stream is on June 23rd. So I can put conditions. This allows me to go back and see what SOPs, what assets inside of our company need to worked on, whether it's needed, initial draft, editing, revision. And again, I'm not going to go pretty deep into what we do. But this is all of the things you can do inside of ClickUp, is get very granular with your process, get very granular with every single function inside of your business. So now what I'm doing, I'm just going to click Save right now. So now I'm going to have that test live stream show up in my list of our production workflow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. That way I can show you. This show is empty right now. So basically, there's no structure, there's no bones to this particular show. But I want to make sure that things get done on a regular basis. I want to make sure that things get done consistently. You can see the information that I've already plugged in here. So I have to-do lists, subtasks, but there's nothing here. And again, I can't stress the value of templates. So I'm going to show you a template that we have for creating our show. So if I come up here inside of ClickUp, hit the 3 ellipses, everything that we do inside of our company has a template. And we have a template repository where we can go make updates to the process, which updates the template. So anything that changes, like those robots, anything that changes from that point forward has been updated with the template. So if I click on Browse Template, I'm going to find my Do What Is Necessary live stream template. And there it is, DWIN production checklist. So I'm clicking on that, and now I just click Use Template. I'm going to click Use Template one more time. And watch what happens with the power of automation. It's probably going to take a few seconds because I'm streaming off of my internet connection right now. This is much faster, I promise, when you're sitting here doing this. And because I hit that button twice, it duplicated. But anyway, that's cool. That way I can show you what this is. If you'll notice in the template here, now, exactly how to perform this task, how to perform the production of this show is already here. I now can begin work on the show. I'm plugging in the title, and this is a table of contents that jumps right to the parts inside of where I need to edit. So the title needs to be edited, the description of the show needs to be edited, and then the last thing at the bottom, which I got an idea from Pete Matheson. Thank you, Pete, for this idea. This allows me to use Zapier to be able to automate certain functions, and it pulls out everything after SM post inside of Zapier. So that is exactly what needs to go inside of the description. And I'm going to scroll back up here for a second so you can see this, and this is how you speed things up. So inside of here, here's the description of the show. So rather than me typing this information every single week, which it goes in every one of our shows, everything is built inside of a template. And then inside of Restream, we have the ability to add more content to the description of the show, and that's what we put in here. Everything after this gets put in the YouTube description when we create it on Restream, when we schedule the live broadcast. So I'm going to scroll down here in a minute, down here at the bottom rather, and down here at the bottom you'll notice, and again they're duplicated because I hit the button twice, that's my fault. We have a pre-production workflow and a post-production workflow. So if I click in here, this is actually the process and the steps that need to be taken in order to accomplish the pre-production of this live stream. So if I scroll down here, this is exactly what needs to happen for our live stream. I need to come up with the topic for the show, and I can actually assign this to somebody. I come up with the content for the show, the graphics, all of that. I create a show graphic, which is the thumbnail graphic that we started with. Publish the event on Restream, and if you'll notice right here, it actually goes straight to Restream's website, to the event calendar, and allows me to input all the information that's at the top of this task. We post out on my podcast page. We post basically that's a YouTube link to the YouTube channel to this video. And then we edit all of our scenes in Ecamm, and then I have 2 tasks scheduled to go live. We do a test 1 day before, and we do a test 1 hour before. But that's our pre-production. I don't have to think about it. There's my checklist. And if I want to go edit that, I have the ability to go back and edit the template. So if I want to make changes, tweaks to that, I can fully implement that across any new shows that come out after that. I didn't show it in here for the sake of time. I know we're cutting into almost an hour. One of the benefits that you can do with ClickUp, what I just showed you, going and finding the template and doing all of that, you can actually automate that process inside of ClickUp. So based upon my production list, which you see here, we now have it automated, so anything that is created here will automatically apply that template, which saves time. So I don't have to think about, how do we do this? What do we do before the show? What do we do after the show? How do we post it on social media? How do we remix our content to be able to slice this show up and be able to use it other places? I don't have to think about any of that because that is all part of my template. That is all part of the SOP. But I can't stress that enough. So again, if you want to check out, this isn't a product pitch. I'm just showing you one of the things that I use inside of our business that has saved me hours and hours and hours of time is ClickUp. I can't stress that enough, and it is a extremely, extremely powerful tool. All right, I'm going to cut back to our slides here. So we got a couple questions that have come in too, so let me get to those questions in a second. Let's see here. Got a couple questions here. So the step to get them approved is the current bottleneck for me. Seems to be hard to find the time. Batch the task. Put it on your calendar, man. Accuracy is critical for SOPs because of the potential of issues, inconvenience, security risk. The items, let me pop that back up there. I didn't get a chance to read through the whole thing. So let's see here. Technology, 2-factor. Imagine if a tech provisions a customer's password manager, enabling that could be a disaster. Again, if you have a step in there, how to stay on top of those technical SOP approvals. Have a debrief every week. Start there. Find out where bottlenecks, find out where potential dangers are in your company, and put that into the SOP. Build a caution tab. As you saw, if I flip back over to our tasks inside of ClickUp, let me pull that in here. So I have things that are highlighted inside of our SOP that jump straight out to our tech, to the person doing this, like this banner right here that's in red. Please take note of that. Edit every single one of the spots that's necessary. Don't miss the one clear at the bottom. So you can have those things built in. And again, having them inside of your PSA tool, I found ConnectWise to be extremely frustrating. I know that IT Glue came out since I sold my MSP. So if you can do this inside of IT Glue or wherever your SOPs live, do that. Have some type of notation. Remember where I talked about having notations inside of your company. If that is something inside of your company, people take special alert and special awareness of that particular part of accomplishing that SOP. So that would be one of them that you could build in there to prevent, accidents like that happening where somebody's enabling something that could break two other processes. Again, another thing I like inside of ClickUp, everything that we do, I have it tracked down to what software is tied to accomplishing a particular SOP. So if we change a piece of software, I know every single SOP that is tied to that piece of software inside of my system. So if IT Glue allows you the capability to do that, or your PSA tool, whatever you're using, again, that's another layer with your SOPs, but you plan for down the road. But all of that is fully capable without having a programming degree inside of ClickUp. And that's why I love it, because I don't have to be the one to implement it. A VA can simply go in there and create things and be able to change automations. They can change SOPs, and they don't need a programming degree to do that. But great, thank you for the question. I know there's a lot in the tech space that we have to think of, especially when it comes down to security. It says, can you have SOP multi-step tasks as a template? Yes. So hopefully that answered your question, ProTech guy. You can have multiple subtasks, multiple checklists, you can build that as deep as you want. And that's why I love it. And they can't mark that as complete until all of those things are checked off. And that's what I love it. It's accountability. It's making sure that we're consistently going through our process to deliver a consistent quality results. So yep, ProTech guy, yep, I think you're getting to that. So hopefully I covered that. If you're still hanging out on the stream, like I said, I knew this was going to be one that I took a lot of time, but I wanted to show people how to do that. And really, hopefully, this gets you moving and thinking about how to do this for your business. But my whole goal is helping you be a calm, unstoppable CEO. And the quickest way to get there is having repeatable systems and process inside of your company so that you don't have to be the one that does all of the work. So that you can be a calm business owner. I knew I threw a lot at everybody today, and like I said, we've just scratched the surface of what is capable and what is possible of SOPs. So let me know in the comments if you're still hanging out with us. If you're watching this on the replay, please put this in the comments too. What is your one takeaway from today's show? I know I covered a lot. If there's something that you want me to clarify, if those of you who are tuning in live or watching the replay, if you want me to cover something in detail or go back and maybe answer a question, I'm happy to do that. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what your number one takeaway about today's show was. So as you can imagine, being in the tech space for 30 years, I've used a lot of tools, a lot of software for being able to get things done. We were trying to create all of this inside Microsoft Teams because, I like Microsoft stuff, but I've just find it so frustrating there's an app for this, and I got to go into Power Automate to do this, and I got to go to SharePoint to do that. It just became a nightmare. But trust me, I wanted to be able to do this with Microsoft tools and do it in a simple way that somebody else can take the ball and go with it. But we just hit a wall over and over and over and over again. until I found ClickUp, and everything just seemed to make sense. So again, I don't want this to seem like a product pitch, because it's not, but I want to share things that are useful, because it has been absolute game changer for me. And again, we started this journey in March. I'm now talking about this in June. So I've tried to give the software through its paces. We've thrown a lot of stuff at it, and it has been able to do every single thing that I've wanted to be able to do inside of our business. And it has really made automation, for me, that's key. Having the SOPs in there is great, but having the ability to automate and to make sure and hold people accountable and to be able to assign all the way down to individual tasks to someone has been super, super key for me. So, yeah, like I said, if you haven't checked out ClickUp, let me go switch back over here. There is a free trial, so hit that down in the link there, orangenomad.com/ClickUp. Sign up for a free trial. Put it through its paces, see what it can do. There's lots of training around, but again, if you're a Team Orange member, I'm going to be doing a lot of training inside of our membership community on ClickUp and how to use it in marketing, in sales, how to actually implement a marketing system that works. We're doing this through our coaching program, and if you're interested in that, let me know. Please reach out. But again, I cannot recommend ClickUp enough. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate that. Looks like we've got Kyle Kenyon says may have to revisit ClickUp. So have you already checked that out, Kyle? Let me know. But yeah, like I said, I trialed it for a month before I give the green light to start implementing and converting everything out of Microsoft Teams and all the million places. You can actually, we were using Trello a lot, and ClickUp actually has the ability to import all of the stuff from Trello, which that really made it a no-brainer for me, because I pulled in a lot of the stuff we had in Trello, and it was automatically in ClickUp, and it was rearranging it, and it actually works so much better than anything that we've used. It's so much better. And I know Trello's going that direction as well, but I think they've got a long road to be able to catch up to ClickUp at this point, my humble opinion. So, yep, ClickUp looks very useful. Thanks for the demo. Again, Daryl, I know you've wanted to learn about SOPs and all of that. This is part of the training that we're going to be rolling out inside of our Team Orange community. So you definitely want to check out what we've got coming for sure. So Jesse Castro says his takeaway is life in the MSP space can be much easier. Make sure you have SOPs that are repeatable. When am I going to listen to that? So, amen, brother. If I can help in any way, let me know. But yeah, if you want to be part of the Team Orange community and learn more, a lot of what we do on this live stream, we're going to be going much further in depth with our Team Orange community in the future. That's why I've been working on the last few months, is to put everything in place so we can get more content out in a very professional, and I have a very high standard for our content production. Hopefully you can see that from the show here. So, yep, Kyle said, yes, I did a while back, but can't say I gave it a good real look. Yeah, there's so many things in there that I just, man, I can't tell you. Like I said, I've been trying to eliminate our software stack as much as possible, just to simplify things. Let's see here. Is there a worthy note-taking component of ClickUp? There is. I don't have it enabled on this browser version. Let me see if I can pull this up. There's a couple ways of taking notes in there. I'm going to switch back over so I can show you that since you're still hanging out with us, Kyle. Yeah, I've got the screen cut off at the bottom. Down here at the bottom, let me see if I can move this screen around real quick. Just bear with me here. Hopefully it doesn't jump around too much. All right, so I scrolled up just a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. Let's just see here. Move that up a little bit more. So down here at the bottom, there is a ClickUp Google extension, which also works with Microsoft Edge, which is Chrome. But I love it. That is taking place of my bookmarking tool and my screenshot tool. it puts things straight into ClickUp for me. But one of them, like you mentioned, Kyle, is the ability to take notes. There's a couple ways of doing that. There is a simple notepad function, which again is available inside of the Chrome extension. So while you're researching things, you can be taking notes and putting that information right in here. And what I like about it is a lot of the formatting is you can do a lot of formatting inside of that note. So let's just take like that banner. So if you want to take quick notes on how to create a banner like this, which again, that's your notation inside of your SOP. And we're just going to say, pay attention to this. So I can put that in there. So you can do some formatting inside of just the notepad feature with ClickUp. But this still allows me to get stuff out of my head. And again, more things live in your head, the more conflicted you are and you can't get things done as an entrepreneur. But that's one way of doing it. And again, I could go another hour on the doc feature inside of ClickUp. There is a whole document. You can make all of your SOPs inside of documents. So you can have multiple pages. So it has taken the place of OneNote for me. So everything lives in there. Everything I can do in OneNote, I can do inside of ClickUp and more. But again, we're going to do some deep dives on ClickUp and how to do SOPs as an MSP and as a business owner with our Team Orange community. So yeah, if you want to check that out, go to my.teamorange.com or orangenomad.com/Team Orange. But hopefully that answered your question, Kyle. But keep that coming. We appreciate all of the contributions that people make to the show every week, the questions that come in. But yeah, what was your number one takeaway? If you're just joining us or haven't put that in there, let me know. But thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'm like winded. I knew this one was going to be a long one. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. But I knew that folks would want to learn as much as they could about how to get this problem. We all know it's a problem. It continues to be a not necessarily a problem. We're getting that handled. But SOPs can be tough to get that process started, to get that created. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. Those of you who are still hanging out with me after an hour and 15 minutes now since we've been live. But anything that I can do to help, reach out. I'm more than happy to share everything that I've learned. You can check out this live stream every single week for free content. I'm happy to share anything that might be useful to your company. So if you want to support the show, one of the ways to do that, if you want to grab a Team Orange sweatshirt, hoodie, I know it's summertime. My friend Robert Gibbons got his nice hoodie. So orangenomad.com/merch. That is a way to support this show that allows us to continue to bring this free content to the entrepreneurial community every single week. Thanks again for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Again, this is the Do What Is Necessary live stream. This is about doing what is absolutely necessary for you. And hopefully, we've helped you see some things that are necessary for you to bring a calm, unstoppable CEO mentality. Thanks again for hanging out. I hope I see you on next week's show. But as I end every single show, and I have for over a year now, always stay humble and kind, and always, always, always do what is necessary. I'll see you in the next show.